So as I've said before, Chaos Theory has honestly been incredible, especially in season 2. I don't know what it is, but they've seriously ramped up the fear factor. And you wouldn't think an animated series could get suspense and terror down so well, but it honestly nails that sense of primal fear way better than the latest Jurassic World movies that we've gotten.
1 minute, a hungry made-up-asaur is biting Chris Pratt's beautiful, manly bottom. The next, they're a mile away. 1 minute, they can outrun a car. The next, they can't catch up with Bryce Dallas Texas Howard and her beautiful, manly bottom.
It's like Chaos Theory has tapped into what makes dinosaurs feel so genuinely dangerous again. It's that looming sense that these creatures are more than just monsters. They're predators with real instincts, and that's terrifying. And some of them are just straight up monsters in how they were created. I'm not saying it's perfect all around, but the concepts, at the very least, the scenarios that they set up in Chaos Theory are done so well that I've got to give props. And I'm going to walk through a few of those scenes, because goodness gracious, this makes you really forget that you're watching what is essentially a cartoon. So season 2 picks up on the boat, and the first thing I've got to say is that some of the interactions between people that are supposed to like each other or be in a relationship just feel really forced. It doesn't have the same level of chemistry or connection as it did in the first season, but that's just me. It's not like it's the most important thing, but since we're following the humans and their interactions with each other, I wish they would have put a little bit more time into making it feel more authentic, but they do that in other ways. And the way they handle Kenji as well, running into danger as a way to deal with the loss of his father, was handled very well as well. This is important because some of the actions that he performs while he's doing this causes his friends and he to get into these very situations. So one of the standout scenes that totally blew me away was the boat scene during the storm. Now the storm is rocking the boat, they find Bumpy's egg, and they're like, oh, we gotta save it. And I think they absolutely nail the tension here, and it's the buildup. So the crew's on the boat, everyone's edgy from transporting the dinosaurs, the storm rolls in, and I already knew something was gonna happen because the cages fail and start to open. Some of the dinosaurs are missing, and one of the dinosaurs is in its cage dead. Apparently, they had housed 2 of them, and these 2 dinosaurs were making up a racket before.
I don't think it's that fresh. What was in here? Majungasaurus. Majungasaurus! That was the roar we heard! Wait, Majungasaurus is? 2 of them.
So, then where's the other one?
Not only are they dealing with the fire that's erupted on the boat, but we're dealing with them now stalking a dinosaur that's possibly stalking them that already killed another dinosaur its size.
Why'd you put 2 cannibal dinosaurs in the same container? We were kinda in a hurry. Something about our port getting raided. Hey!
You see, even watching this over, right there scared the mess out of me because you just hear these feet and the silhouette of something that you can't make out erupting and peeling away from the shadows and the mist of the rain, and it turns out to be something completely harmless. This whole cat and mouse setup is done so freaking well. Something that we don't really see much of in the later movies, with the exception of standout scenes like the Therizinosaurus in Jurassic World Dominion. That is the only thing I remember about this whole thing. Okay, I remember a lot about the movie too, but this scene, even just watching it now, my heart is beating so fast. The immersion, the way they do the sound design, the atmosphere, and how dowdy it looks, the low visibility, not having seen this thing before, how quiet it was able to move despite its size, and never having seen a creature like this up close. It clearly doesn't see her because it is blind. They have already put that at the forefront of the setup for this, and seeing how crazy it looks, you cannot tell if this dinosaur, at first glance, is a predator or not. I mean, even the modern day version of the dinosaurs, something like the cassowary, can be life-threatening to humans. These things can actually kill human beings. They have very sharp inner claws, or this really long one in the middle on each foot, like a modern day raptor. It's like a dagger. It can cut straight through you if they kick out their legs themselves being very powerful. And some of these birds are very, very aggressive. Now imagine something like this. Much larger, something unknown, something that is blind, which we already get the setup for because we think it sees her, and it's very clear that it can't see because of how cloudy its eyes are. Then look at the way they set up the scene in this just to make a point to let us know whether or not it's dangerous. Ass would have stayed quiet. I'm sorry. Obviously, this thing does not like any noise whatsoever, and I would have waited until it left. To be fair, she probably thought that she was biting height, and if that thing got scared and she was in the way, it was gonna come to her. But they did the setup for the scene excellently. Imagine something blind searching for you because it doesn't trust anything it hears. Everything is a threat, and all it can pinpoint are your movements. So it's moving slowly, creeping up to you, and you know that those claws are going to sever your body, turn you into mincemeat. So when Bryce Dallas Howard finally gets into the water and she's far enough away, deep enough, it was testing to see if it would run whatever it is in the water, because it's like, I know I heard something in here. Let me roar and see if I can get it to run so I can slash it to all hell. When you're a creature like this that can't see, everything is a threat. And I like that they were able to set this up so that this dinosaur wasn't just a monster, it was just reacting a very natural way an animal like this would when it doesn't trust its surroundings. If something is slinking and it's quiet, you don't have the luxury to test and see whether or not it's a predator or prey. Everyone gets these hands.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's okay. Take it easy.
See, this whole thing is great. This poor Gallimimus or whatever it is like, I should not, I should know. Why do I keep trusting these freaking things? Now look at me. Now look at where I am. Look at what's happening. Now there are jaws around my whip cage forcing me to shit myself. And I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. I'm on this freaking thing that's floating in the middle of the water. Once again, here we are, probably for the last time. He doesn't even get time to process the pain. But the atmospheric setting of this, you got the storms, howling winds, the crashing waves, the flickering lights of the lightning. It all sets this foreboding tone, and so it makes this entire environment and the lead up to it feel hostile already. Couple that with the Majungasaurus being this impending danger that we can't see, keeping the viewers on edge. It's also very tight and claustrophobic. We got these narrow shots of Darius navigating through these corridors, of the shipping containers, finding things that you think is the Majungasaurus, and you've got it interspersed with sudden glimpses of the predator, creating this relentless sense of pursuit. It also helps that this thing is freaking ugly. It looks like a McDonald's burger or something. Look at that thing. If you turned around and saw that, that's freaking terrifying. His face is like, bro, why are you acting scared? Maybe because there's a freaking thing that looks like Diablo's turd running around the ship, having killed another one of itself. I'd say that's a pretty good reason to feel afraid. Then we break into the chase scenes, which are fun. It keeps you at this heightened level of, ooh, action now. They go from suspense to straight up action, and this is one hell of a scene though. That is something. Look at that. That is wallpaper right there. That's crazy. I like that. Of course, sometimes how they end up catching the dinosaurs is a bit contrived, but I am giving credit where it's due, which is for the suspenseful scenes or the buildup of the fear factor of the dinosaurs. Episode 1 did a great job of starting us off with that. The other suspenseful scene is the one we get with the introduction of this new character when she's feeding the Stegosauruses. I do love that they added the camera work for this because it shows the Stegosaurus being terrified, and then the camera shifts as if it's from your first person perspective, and your senses are completely blind to whatever it is the Stegosauruses are reacting to. You know there's something out there because the dinosaurs are acting accordingly, and they start acting defensively, but you have no idea. Look at the camera work. And the birds start to leave, and you're like, oh my god, something bad's gonna happen.
Gibba!
And then they subvert expectations, which only leads to later on them fulfilling that payoff of there being something actually waiting in the wings to ambush the main character. Then we got these guys moving the Stegosauruses away from this new village that they found, and they're trying to be helpful until they realize that the Stegosauruses being here is actually a problem for this character and her mom.
Mama! Wait, no, wait!
By the way, the water reflection animations on this is beautiful. So the setup for that was interesting. I will give it that some of the chase scenes do seem a bit ridiculous because it feels almost like The Land Before Time. But there are a few times that they get it right. Like the dinosaurs here, why is it still roaring? It's been trying to catch them. Whenever they were close to it, it was snapping its jaws. Now that it's right in front of them, it's waiting for them to run again. So they still do need to work on that. Then we have episode 3. This is where we learn, also we've known before, that Brooklyn's alive. Honestly, I don't know if anybody else was annoyed of Brooklyn in this season. She has this weird, misguided hero complex that just makes absolutely no sense. Like, when you look back at her actions and why she did the things that she did, there's not enough justification for her to have done that. It just makes no freaking sense. So I feel like she was poorly written this season. I mean, she was annoying in the first season, but I had grown to like her. And in this season, it's like they were just forcing her to be the worst person, or they just didn't know what to do with her. And honestly, I would have respected it more if they kept her dead. I like that she's actually maimed, so we know the character can get hurt, and I do like what they do with some of the scenes with her later on, which I'll get to. I just think her as a person and a character is just really piss poor. I was just annoyed every time I saw her as the show progressed. She's just, I'm sorry, she's fucking annoying. This wasn't a scary scene, but it was a very uncomfortable one, with Darius freaking backbiting his friend by being like, oh, you guys just broke up. By the way, I love you. I always have. I'm like, dude, this was so embarrassingly bad.
What happened?
He got upset because I've been a little distracted with work. He just doesn't understand how important it is to me. He wants me to be someone I'm not.
You stupid bitch. He wants you to be present in the relationship. Why are you in a relationship if you're always going to be distracted? It doesn't matter what she was doing. And she's straight up lying. She says a little distracted. She was so distracted that she could never be in the same room with Kenji without being on her phone or running off and neglecting her friends. I mean, honestly, if I were Kenji, I would think she was cheating. And anyone who watched the show, I think I've actually talked to people about this, and I think even more people out there than just the ones on Reddit threads have the same mind about it. She's a fucking asshole. She had no business being in a relationship with Kenji. She's lying. She's full of herself. She doesn't think about anyone else but herself. Even when she claims, oh, I just want to protect my friends. I'm doing this for them. No, she's not. She's doing it because she has a hero complex. And yes, that in of itself can be a toxic situation. I wish they would have addressed that she's doing this because she probably also has some kind of trauma from what happened on the island. A lot of people are dealing with it that way. But everybody is in the same situation. Why not let your friends be on it too? Why not tell them? Why not be open with them? And then you expect your boyfriend to just be okay when he's like, let's look at the sunset together. And you're like, let me just be on my phone. And then you have a nerve to be like, oh my God, he dumped me and is overreacting because I was a little distracted. Girl, you were all the way distracted. I freaking hated Brooklyn this season. And then Darius, I feel bad for him here, but this was embarrassing. And this is the kind of behavior that emboldens toxic people like Brooklyn.
Wants me to be someone I'm not.
That doesn't make sense. You're amazing. I've never seen anyone with as much dedication and passion as you have. If he loved you half as much as I do, he'd understand.
Did you just say love?
Oh, that? No. I mean, like, I love all of my friends the same way. Well, not the same way, but equally. The same amount of love, even if the love is different.
And is the love different with me?
Maybe. But our friendship is too important to me, and Kenji's my best friend.
Then why would you say something like that? You asshole. How could you backstab Kenji like this? I completely understand where Kenji's coming from. Can you imagine? Yes, they're broken up, but he just broke up with his girl. And it's not even because he wanted to break up with her, it's because she was neglecting him in the relationship. She comes to you, you let her stay alone with you when you know you have feelings for her, or you did, because he did have feelings for Brooklyn in Camp Cretaceous. I believe it started going that way before she got with Kenji. And knowing this, you're like, I'm gonna just drop this bomb on you, which is very selfish. Like, what did you think was going to happen? And why couldn't Brooklyn stay with someone else? Where are her parents? Where are her friends? Where her other friends? Why would you stay with another dude? Like, I don't have any problem with male roommates. I used to want a male roommate. I would rather have male roommates. But if you are in a relationship with two guys, one is the friend, and then you go immediately from one person to another guy's house, the other friend, and you're staying with him, it looks really bad. It looks really bad unless she's trying to make Kenji jealous and break his heart more, which I could see her doing and pretending that she's not doing that. And Darius is a freaking hypocrite, because had he been on Kenji's side, like, I'm sorry I'm going on with this, but I just have to say it. If he had been in the same situation as Kenji and she was acting the way she was with Kenji with him, he would be depressed.
Person who likes dinos as much as me. We should get going. My coffee's not gonna wrangle itself.
Okay then. Nice meeting you.
Darius, we're still good for later, right?
Yeah, I would be mad too if I was Kenji. You're out with my best friend, out in the middle of the woods with him for weeks, bro, after you just broke up with me? Are you insane? Like, yeah, we're broken up, you can do whatever you want, doesn't make you any less an asshole. And Darius should have known better. I do like the backstory we got and everything with Brooklyn, and how she lost her arm. I wish it had been a little bit more gruesome, like she was trying to get away, and the raptor grabbed her and dislocated her arm while she was still running and in shock. That would have made more sense, but they did their best to try and put it together. The reason why I even brought this up is because one of the very terrifying scenes that they do later on has to do with Brooklyn's fear and her trauma of having lost her arm. And I don't know what the hell is it with these freaking haircuts. I do know that Brooklyn was like super feminist in the first one, so I guess it's on par, but good lord, the fashion choice. Also, I'm thinking to myself, if you're trying to stay low and let people think that you're dead, why would you get the haircut and the hair color on top of it that stands out the freaking most? Yeah, I don't want people to suspect me or look at me weird because I'm supposed to be dead, so let me get a unusual haircut for a woman if that is not the norm, so people would be like, oh, that's a woman. And let me also color it bathroom matte aqua green so that it can stand out. Stupid as hell. Plus you have one arm. Like, come on. So we skip over the other episode all the way to episode 5, where we see Brooklyn staking out an apartment building where she sees one of the dinosaur buyers. Her friend is warning her, yeah, do not go in there by yourself. And Brooklyn, being Brooklyn, does it anyway because she's an idiot. This person's obviously very rich and a painter, and she is caught when this woman walks in. So Brooklyn says, oh, yeah, I got the wrong place. This was a delivery. My thing would have been like, why would you just be in my house standing there with the food in your hand? That's weird. But this woman thinks nothing of it. And we know this woman from Jurassic World Dominion. This is Sayana Santos. And they only lightly touched on her in the movie, but she has a much bigger part to play in Chaos Theory. She says it's not every day one encounters a limb like yours, so she wants to paint her. Now, this is the setup for the scene because this woman does not know that this is Brooklyn. Brooklyn is actually doing some espionage work on this woman, getting close to her, and she's actually starting to like this woman.
Takes me all over.
And that business is?
Call it paleontology. Do you like dinosaurs?
Not a big fan. No.
That's a shame. I've always loved them. In fact, my mother was part of the dig that discovered the fighting dinosaurs in Mongolia.
So this woman starts talking about Velociraptor mongoliensis, and she's setting up the stage, and Brooklyn is actually starting to relax while she's pretending that she's someone else to get more info on this woman, as this woman is painting her. And this is one of the best scenes, what follows. You don't really see this scene anywhere else. I like that Chaos Theory can accomplish this without you having seen it. They usually take inspiration from the Jurassic Park movies, which gets annoying and very repetitive. But the way that they did this in this scene, I think it was very original and set the tone for what would follow after.
That's what this painting is missing. Look forward. I need to see your eyes.
Wow, that was great. That was excellent. What's crazy is as this Atrociraptor named Red enters, you get this traditional Mongolian type music that starts to play. And it's so fitting because they were just talking about the Velociraptor mongoliensis. It's kind of creating this cultural and thematic link between this and the Atrociraptor. And they really do a good job with utilizing this to create more tension in this scene, and you can feel it.
No need to be scared, dear. You're perfectly safe. Right? doesn't attack. Unless I tell her to. With this. Amazing the control you can have over these creatures when you really take the time to earn it.
This scene has completely taken me in. Sayana is just calm. And I know something is up, and I'm wondering to myself, what is going on? Like, before my brain can completely piece together what's happening, we get the culmination of the scene.
Not quite. There. Hold that expression. What a useful gadget the laser is. So much more precise than a whistle. Don't you agree, Brooklyn?
Wow. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I should have seen that coming from a mile away, but I didn't expect it. I don't know what, maybe because I was so knee deep in the anxiety that was building in the scene that I didn't even think about. Does she know who she is? The fact that she's playing along with this the entire time and knew where she was. And then she says other things like, yeah, were you having fun over in that building next door to me spying on me? And I'm like, dude, she knew everything this woman was doing. She knew everything Brooklyn was doing this entire time when Brooklyn thought she was being slick.
Come now. A haircut and one less arm does not a disguise make. Though I still advise you to sit very still. Trained or not, dinosaurs tend not to react too well to sudden movements. How is the penthouse across the street, by the way? They're not scheduled to finish construction for a few weeks, but you've been cozied up there for a while now.
And this must be terrifying for Brooklyn because she's already almost met her death with one of these things. So when she said she wasn't a fan of dinosaurs, she was being serious. Can I say the camera work for this is excellent? It is excellent. This would have been a great scene from a movie. How is it that Chaos Theory can do this so much better than a lot of the modern movies? I know I say that and it sounds like a broken record, but I just want to drive it home. In case any of the people who make modern movies are watching, which they probably aren't because they're so far up their own asses. But the tension that was built here all the way to this scene was done excellently. You feel like you're in here with Brooklyn being chased by this thing.
You moved.
How did she control the dinosaur to let it keep its mouth open like that?
Three's a vegetarian.
Anyway, that was one of my favorite scenes with Red, and then there's another scene with Red as well. We're getting to the best out of the bunch. We've got hippo chasing scenes. We've got hippos fighting Suchomimus scenes. Something that I never thought I would ever see happening. Can we get more of these? Unfortunately, this hippo does die later on and get eaten by this thing. And they just keep amping up the fear with this thing. Like, this is terrifying. This is a very terrifying shot right here. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. What is scary is when Yaz goes into the water. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, what a hot dog swallowing, deep throating freaking butterfly leg second. Can't Suchomimus swim? And while you're there with the gears turning in your head, trying to ascertain whether or not this is the truth, it's like they try to give you the subverting expectation plate to eat from. And then when they change it up and you're thinking, well, there might be something in there that the Suchomimus doesn't want to get in the water for, or maybe this Suchomimus can't swim. So Yaz is fine. We see it get into the water. Now, for people who are not familiar with dinosaurs, I think this scene would have hit harder in my opinion because they wouldn't be expecting this. We hadn't seen a Suchomimus in the water. And then when it effortlessly gets in the water, those people must have been like, oh my God. That is is a wonderfully terrifying scene, especially if you know that Suchomimus can't get in the water. And I'm thinking to myself, they were on that island for a long time in the Camp Cretaceous series. Did they not run into Suchomimus on the island? Wouldn't you have known, with Darius Bowman being who he is, that Suchomimus, like Baryonyx, can go in the water? So I don't know why she's surprised, but she also knows at least about dinosaurs, so it's not like she's gonna remember everything Darius says anyway, unless she has direct contact with that. But this was a wonderful reaction. Very reminiscent of the scene from A Quiet Place, the first movie, where this thing slips into the water like a freaking knife through butter. Now you learn very quickly that this thing can hold its breath for quite a while, and you would never know what's under there with how quiet it is. I'm sorry, but that scene back there when it's right behind her is terrifying. I'm telling you, the camera work, the lighting in this animation, ugh. Chef's kiss. And what's worse is when Yaz thinks that she's safe and there's a pair of glowing eyes that's there and she's like, oh my god, why can't I just freaking live? Why can't I just, I mean, look at this. And then they have the perfect setup for dinosaurs and the Majungasaurus seeing each other and them fighting. So they give us our daily dose of dinosaurs and battle. Now, when they find the underground facility, this is where the two top scenes, the two most terrifying scenes of this entire series takes place. See, Darius and his friends are in this pit and they can't get back up because the ladder stopped halfway. So they're trying to stay away from this raptor, and the Atrasiraptor goes around to the other end where it can clearly see them. She can clearly see them, but she's like, nah, I'm good. Good luck with that. You see Red, which is the Sayana's raptor, just walk away. Like, this raptor's intelligent enough that it could jump up that ladder and get away if it wanted to. You're wondering, why would it just leave them like that? Something is wrong. Okay, so the first setup for this, when they're pointing to something that is growling through the dark, through that shadowy entrance, you're wondering, what is this pit for? What is in there growling? Whatever it is, the raptor clearly wants nothing to do with it. So they all quietly try to get back up, but they can't reach. And that's when whatever it is, it starts to make an appearance. So here's my reaction to it at the time I was watching it. Dude, tell me for real how Chaos Theory is able to make scarier scenes than the later Jurassic World movies. Bro, this thing is blind. This thing, check this scene out. Yo, that is scary. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was so freaking well done. Dude, the amount of suspense I have seen in Chaos Theory. Damn. Okay, I see you guys. I see you, showrunners. God damn, that was crazy. The way they filmed the thing following the sounds because it's blind, and the way that we can hear it from its point of view watching over its shoulder, and we hear the augmentation of the audio of their feet shuffling when they think they're being quiet. Oh, this is so oh my god. So yeah, just like me in that clip, I still maintain this is one of the scariest scenes of the entire Jurassic Park franchise. I think what makes it even more terrifying is the way it looks. It's albino and it has no freaking eyes. And now it has this acute sense of hearing. It's taking its little steps forward and they know they're in trouble. There's nowhere for them to go. So that was a scene that I like. We discover later that Brooklyn is the one that was helping them, and being stuck in a pit with a blind dinosaur who wants to rip your throat out and thinks it's feeding time and you're its food is crazy. Kind of like feeding your snake. The next and 9th episode is crazy because I love this guy. This villain is so intriguing, and I'm surprised that they actually showed him as a villain. But he's one of my favorite characters. He's not available for very long, but he does a standout performance in this. He's basically the mad scientist that made all of this possible. He ends up falling into the pit with his creation, and the dude fell on his head, so I don't know how he's still alive, but he looks at her, the blind baryonyx, and he's snapping his fingers, and he's like, you are quite the specimen.
You really are quite the specimen.
Clearly, the snapping of the fingers is a way that he is able to communicate with her, except it doesn't seem to work out very well because she chases him inside of that dark, shadowy place and we hear him being mauled. And now Brooklyn is working with Santos while trying to also help her friend, sort of. Anyway, the 10th episode is the next scary scene because it turns out that the mad scientist guy is, in fact, alive. Oh boy. So Red starts talking to this thing, and they did take a little bit of this from Jurassic World, but what makes this more terrifying is, like I said, the guy snaps his fingers to communicate with his blind baryonyx. Look at how Red handles the situation. The scene was done beautifully, and I like that they added their own thing to it with the setup of this guy knowing how to control his dinosaur. Apparently, he's the one who probably invented that whole method, which I think is very stupid because these are criminals, and you mean to tell me these people have done a bunch of illegal stuff, are going to put a middleman in like dinosaurs where they have to press a button and then press it again to make it green to attack something rather than, I don't know, just using a gunman if you don't want to pull the trigger yourself or using a gun. Okay, let's say they can't use a gun because there's no plausible deniability. Then maybe if they had said something about the law and there's no law in place yet to make them murderers if they use the dinosaur, I can understand that, but they didn't explain that. So it just comes off as very stupid and contrived. But at least the setup for it is pretty decent here. You see Raptor Red. Wow, I wonder if they named it after Raptor Red. But anyway, Raptor Red notices that this thing communicates with the snapping of the fingers. And she is able to mimic the guy's snaps. And probably there's some other language going on here too that we don't know of. But the fact that she's mimicking the guy's snaps to try and control the dinosaur and take control from him is crazy. Scene. Not as scary as the scene in the pit. The pit is, I think, the winner of the scariest dinosaur scene I've seen in a while. But the suspense and the way they let that whole thing hang when the dinosaurs are communicating with each other is wonderful. They stole it from Jurassic World with the Indominus Rex, but still. So yeah, Chaos Theory did a lot of things well. I think the movies could learn a bit. Either way, I like this girl, but she's so full of herself. I can't even get on them about making the female characters assholes because Yaz and Sammy don't act like this. And she's mad because her father is someone who loves dinosaurs. He shares theories. And so Darius does the same thing. And she's like, not everybody. There's other people who know stuff like you know. Like, bitch, you wouldn't even have known that stuff if your father hadn't been annoying you with it. And her father is so sweet too. He doesn't deserve that kind of treatment. Anyway, big applause for this. I can't wait for season 3. I think Chaos Theory has improved in the quality, in the writing, overall, the setup, the concepts for the dinosaur interactions with humans and with each other. I think they can take a lot of liberty with the animations that they can't in the movies, or they're just choosing not to do in the movies. The only one thing that I find an annoying, contrived situation is the control of the dinosaurs. I should say several things. Brooklyn and this stupid savior complex that just makes no sense. And when the dinosaurs are actually really close to the humans after chasing them. Now, it's kind of half and half because there were some scenes in Chaos Theory in the first season where the dinosaur interactions were actually pretty well done. Like when the Beckel Spinaxes were chasing them in the van and they were trying to help Sammy only for the van to get buckled around by two of these creatures. I do think this scene was also expertly handled because at least the thing looked like it was really trying to get them, only for them to end up cornered by these things. Anyway, I can't wait for the next season. This is one of my favorite shows.